Hello and welcome back to Cartetus Math. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at factoring trinomials by the product and sum method. This relates to your package questions, number 63 to number 78. So factoring trinomials means taking something that looks like this x squared plus 7x plus 10 and undoing that multiplication. So we want to turn it into a multiplication of its factors. We want to take this trinomial and turn it back into this multiplication of two binomials. So x plus 5 times x plus 2. So to do this, there's a few things that we need to know. So the general expression of a second degree trinomial, second degree meaning the highest exponent on this trinomial is a 2. Trinomial is we have 3 terms. So the general expression is this, ax squared plus by plus c. So now, knowing this, it's important for us to analyze our trinomial that we're being given. So we're going to keep working with this example up here, x squared plus 7x plus 10. And we're going to analyze these different coefficients and our constant at the end. So here I want to list out what is a, what is b, what is c. So here a is the number that sits out in front of my x squared, so the highest degree term. If your trinomial was kind of shuffled around and rearranged, a is really the one that goes with the x squared term. So the coefficient here in front of my x squared, that's 1. It's there, we don't write it, but it is 1. Coefficient in front of x, that's 7, which means b is 7. And then our constant term is 10, so c is 10. So that's our analysis of our coefficients here. So we have a, b, and c. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to keep in mind in order to kind of understand what we're doing when we undo the multiplication, we're just going to do a little refresher on what it means when we go forwards. So what I'm going to do is, since I have the answer here, I know that it's going to be x plus 5, x plus 2. I'm going to just review what it looks like when we go forwards. So x plus 5 times x plus 2. So I'm going the long way. I'm not using the FOIL shortcut. I'm going to be distributing that first term to the entire second bracket, distributing the second term to the entire second bracket. This will become x times x plus 2 plus 5 times x plus 2. Then we do an additional distribution, x squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10. So right now we have a few things that look familiar. We have this x squared piece that matches what we know we start with. And we have this end piece, the 10, and that also matches. The thing that doesn't match at this point is the b portion, right? So we end up with 7x because this 2x and this 5x end up getting added together. So when we do our multiplication, there's a simplification step that happens over here. So those two get added up and we end up with x squared plus 7x plus 10. So now if instead I give you x squared plus 7x plus 10, in order for us to be able to go backwards, we need to break this middle one up. And if you didn't know the answer, you wouldn't know how. How should I break up 7x? Do I want to make it 1 and 6? Do I want to make it 2 and 5? Do I want to make it maybe -3 and 10? That will also give me 7x. So this piece needs to get broken up into 2 pieces. And the method that we use to figure out what those 2 pieces are is called product and sum. So what we do is we do the first part, which is the product. and your product is A times C. So looking at this general rule, the general expression, you have your A, your B, your C. What we're going to do is take the A and multiply it by the C. So in this case, our A is 1, our C is 10. 1 times 10, we get 10. And the second step is list your factors of 10. So I like to do kind of the little umbrella where you got the number you're starting with and then it kind of rains factors. So we're going to list all the factors of 10, starting with 1, 1 times 10, 2, 2 and 5. And then after that, you kind of run out of them. You don't have any more. So we'll stop here. And now it's the third step, which is the sum. So now you have to look at your pairs of factors. And if you add them up, will you get B? So I'm going to change the wording on step 3 and I'm going to make it create a sum of B using factors. And so that's what we're looking for. We want to do if 1 plus 10 will give us 11, 2 plus 5 will give us 7. Since our B value is 7, these are the factors we want. So this is telling us how we want to break this 7x up. We want to break it up into a 2x and a 5x, and that is going to help us in going backwards and factoring. So now that we have broken this up, 2x, 5x plus 10, we can do grouping as we normally would. So the last video in the series covered grouping, and that's what we're doing here. We just group the first two and the last two and factor as you normally would. So here, my greatest common factor between these two is x. They each have an x term. They don't have any coefficients in common, so I'm going to pull out an x. And then inside my brackets, put in what I have left over. So x plus 2 plus, and then over here, my greatest common factor is 5. There are no variables that are common, so I'm pulling out a 5, and I'm leaving x plus 2. Our little brackets, those both match, so we know that we did this right. And now we can just set up our 2 brackets. So these that got left outside, they become 1 bracket, and then the other one becomes what you have in between the other 2. So x plus 5 times x plus 2. So that's how you go backwards. We're going to do this next example as well. So we're going to go forwards and backwards. And in the problems, you will only be going backwards. So this is just so that you really see what's happening in each step. So we're distributing each term to the entire second bracket, 2x times x plus 2 plus 1 times x plus 2. X squared plus 4x plus x plus 2. And then the simplification step here, 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. So that's the trinomial. And again, when you're doing the problems, you're just going to be given the trinomial and asked to get here. So we have our trinomial, 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. We'll label 2 is A, 5 is B, and 2 is C. So first step, is we want to find the product of AC. AC is 2 times 2, so 4. Step 2 is we need to list the factors of 4. So 1 and 4, 2 and 2. And 3 is create a sum of B. So first, B is 5. We look at our factors. 1 plus 4 gives us 5. 2 plus 2 gives us 4. So since B equals 5, use 1x and 4x. So now we know what we need to break B up into. 2x squared plus 1x plus 4x plus 2. So I'll put the list of the full steps now. So step 4 is replace B. And step 5 is grouping. So now we factor by grouping. And those steps we already have. So here we're going to pull out an x. Oops. Pull out an x, so we have 2x plus 1. Here we're going to pull out a 2 plus 2x, oops, 2x plus 1. And then we put our two brackets together. X plus 2 times 2x plus 1. Okay, so that is the introduction to product and sum method. In the next video, I'll be also covering product and sum and just do a couple of examples that have some funky negatives. So we'll be looking at that in the next video. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.